Now, This is the Police is a brand new game today as well. Just came out at the very same time as Batman. Very different to what we were playing.
Usually, before I go shaking my tits for the press, I like to go see how the professionals do it. Some might say the chief of police has no business in an institution like this. But in fact, it's the quietest and safest place in town. You won't run into any reporters, nobody gets into any fights, nobody drinks too much, nobody even raises their voice. The place is owned by an elderly gentleman who knows how to keep things under control. That's why I never invite my friends here. I wanted to make an exception for my 60th birthday, but most of my colleagues are young enough to be my sons, and they'd rather just hire prostitutes. Why stare at some boobs when you can take the whole package for yourself? But there's none of that in our club. Even looking too long is considered indecent. You can get an occasional glimpse, like by accident. The rest of the time you just pretend that you're immersed in conversation, or just come by for a drink. Doesn't mean these gentlemen wouldn't want their bald heads smothered in tits. It's just that nobody says it out loud. My younger colleagues might call it hypocrisy, but I call it the good old-fashioned manners. Good manners and leave the rest unsaid. She agrees to unbutton her blouse, and we agree not to pay too much attention. The girls are on a quiet prowl, too. They're looking for a way out of their cramped rooms. Maybe make friends with some wealthy patron with a pacemaker and dentures. Everybody wants something. But we have to control ourselves, or we'll all turn into libertines and prostitutes. Hell, if there weren't any rules, I'd be belching and farting, jumping up on the table, arms held high, yelling, "Shake it, baby!" No idea how I got so barbaric.
So, I was saying this is another brand new game out today. This is the Police. Not really too sure on what genre this fits into. It's sort of like a strategy game, but it's got a story mixed into it as well. You're the chief of police basically, and you have to look after your city and try and avoid corruption as well at the same time. So I guess it's strategy. Like I said, it's brand new, so this is the very first time I've jumped into it myself. So day 1, June 15th, Monday. Okay, so I'm at home at the moment. City Hall confirms rumours of Jack Boyd's resignation. Mayor Rogers' sex maniac. Mark War 2 to be shown in Freiburg the day before the worldwide premiere by the mayor's personal request. Just get the daily headlines every day before you leave. Ignis, please.
When I was a kid, my father sometimes told me at bedtime that if I closed my eyes and didn't open them for a long time, all the demons would blow away. Yesterday I turned 60, but I still take his advice. Not because I'm sentimental or want to keep the memory of my father alive. I just can't think of a better solution. To get away from all the demons that haunt Freiburg, I'd need to wear a blindfold 24/7. Plus, it's a good idea to act blind when talking to reporters. At least that's what my colleagues say. They're afraid of press conferences. But for me, it's more like a confessional. No matter what lies you tell, you're privately thinking the honest answers. It helps me remember who I am. The fact that I'll be reading all about it in the papers tomorrow is a small price to pay. Call it penance for the preacher. This is the first time I'm afraid of those answers my mind has given me. Not because I'm mad I'm losing my job. Though it's true, I'm mad as hell. Not because I subconsciously blame everyone else. Though I damn sure do blame them. And don't even ask me what my next move is. I can't imagine. But even that doesn't scare me. The worst thing is, I know I'm gonna have to do something. And I'll be damned if I know how far I'll go. I may have a lot of vices, but predictability isn't one of them. I learned a long time ago how to drive away the swarming demons. But what do you do when they're trying to rip your soul from your skin? Shutting my eyes tight as I can. The best solution remains the same. Play blind. I just hope the reporters think I was blinded by the camera flash.
Good morning. Actually click this. Yesterday the mayor's office officially announced your resignation. Did this come as a surprise or did you know about it in advance? Surprise, the mayor discussed it with me. I've been expecting this bullshit from the mayor. Difference. Mayor Rogers told me that he wants a fresh face running Freeburg PD, so no, it didn't come as a surprise. You already know of the name of your successor. I think it'll be a department veteran. Will most likely be one of my current employees. After the recent corruption scandal, your deputy, Francis Kendrick, said he was looking forward to resigning. If the mayor offered him your position, would that change his mind? Perhaps, no way, I'd be happy. There's recent corruption scandal, your deputy says he was looking forward to resigning. The mayor offered him your position, that changed his mind. I'd be hard to say, but I can't think of more deserving candidates than Kendrick. Although Kendrick was acquitted, many still believe that the police are cooperating with the mafia. Do you have anything to say about this? Bullshit. I don't know if it helps police. Usually I prefer to answer all your questions, but in this situation I've got to say no comment. You think your personal relationship with the mayor could be the reason behind your retirement? Definitely not. That's just not possible. Mayor Rogers is a true professional and he makes his decisions carefully. There is no place in our jobs for hard feelings.
How's the back today, Mr. Boyd?
Same as usual.
How did the press conference go?
You can read about it in the newspapers tomorrow. Don't let anyone in.
Even Mr. Kendrick?
Especially Mr. Kendrick.
I actually like him.
As soon as I heard the door creak, I knew what face I'd see. When I tell Emma not to let anyone in, there's only one man it could be. Rude, arrogant, no warning. That's Mayor Rogers in a nutshell. White summer shoes, white socks, white shorts, white polo shirt, and the white smile of a hungry
I thought he had no clothes
shark.
on there for a minute.
Mayor Rogers enters every room like he owns the place. Even the floorboards under his feet sound like they're creaking an apology. He never shied away from the odd corruption scheme. It's like the devil walks behind him. In the movies, the villains controlling the city play golf with the judges. Rogers plays tennis with them instead. That's about the only difference.
Jack, I was hoping to catch you after the press conference. You ran away so quick.
There's no smoking at City Hall. No reason for me to hang around.
Well, this morning I signed a ban on smoking in all public buildings. Soon you won't be able to smoke here either.
Soon enough, I won't be here at all.
That's what I wanted to talk to you about. The people of this city like you, Jack. The police chief of all people. Don't betray that, Jack. Don't get wrapped up in any schemes. Sit nice and quiet for the next 180 days, and you'll be remembered as a hero. That's the only thing that you still have left. Be the hero.
Then how am I supposed to scrape together a retirement fund?
You had a million chances to secure a luxury pension, one that even I would have envied, although I've never set aside any money for myself. I'm not planning to retire anytime soon. "180 days of quiet, Jack. That's all I need. I don't have any problems with you.
Half a year.
And you won't have any problems with me. I have a new assistant, Troy Starr. If you have something to tell me, call him. But try not to bother him. He's a busy man."
I'll do my best.
"And quit smoking up the office. One of my friends will be using it soon."
Burn it before I leave, you fuck.
Oh, I'm sorry, babe. Only the mayor has this number. Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, is this Troy Starr?
Yes?
Go fuck yourself, Troy Starr.
Day 2. I didn't even do anything on day 1, apart from talk to the press. Reading the game. There is actual gameplay in it, I'm not sure why it's starting so slow. Civil servants' wages won't be raised this year. Head of Culture Department owns villa in Italy. Jack Boyd confirms police cooperation with the mafia. No, it didn't. Nice.
Cops don't use the police station cafeteria anymore. There's some kind of stigma against sitting shoulder to shoulder with your partners. Everybody just takes snacks from the machines or grabs a meal and hammers it down in the corner like a vulture on a corpse. The main thing? Don't look into anyone's eyes. Could be construed as an invitation to sit together. The only people eating here are ghosts. My deputy, Francis Kendrick, he recently became one of those ghosts. The subject of one of the most devastating corruption scandals in the history of Freeburg. No evidence to support the accusations, but everyone knows Kendrick's days are numbered. I need that file I asked for. Needs to be ready tonight. Francis didn't say anything, but I understood. Ghosts aren't supposed to talk. Besides, I got a feeling he was already finished.
Would you like to receive tips about how the game works? I'm a 60-year-old police chief a few months away from retirement. I don't need anyone telling me how to do my job. We're only just starting, so how you got it. But Freeburg PD organises upcoming work assignments into shifts for today and tomorrow. Every shift, officers respond to crimes in progress and detectives continue their investigations. You can freely move employees between shifts. Corny face, this used to be a Telltale Bruce Wayne simulator stream. Yeah, because you've seen loads of it. All officers and detectives possess several important characteristics. Professionalism shows the overall efficiency level of your policemen. A figure around 150 is considered average. Any policeman who falls short of this mark is not entirely reliable, while those whose professionalism is considerably higher than average are a safe bet even in a pinch. An individual's level of professionalism may rise and fall over the course of their career. So this dude's really good then. It says 150 is average and he's like 1230. Energy shows how tired your policemen are. The less energy your people have, the less reliable their work, and a policeman who is exhausted might fall asleep at the wheel or make a critical error on the job. Your employees lose 1 point of energy after each working day and restore 1 point after each day of rest. This is their rest up the side here. Guess this dude's lost 2. Your employees don't tell you everything. Some additional characteristics are hidden from view. For instance, some cops are lazy and will come up with any reason they can think of to take the day off, while others like to drink too much. You can only guess about these things, but you should be able to draw your own conclusions based on the behaviour of your employees. Well, this dude's got a bottle icon, like, so it's pretty clear he loves the drink. Start the day. Cool. Can't do anything with these people because it's the start of the day, I'm guessing. Responding to calls is the bread and butter of police work. You'll need to send your officers to the crime scene before the timer expires. A mark on the map shows where the call came from. The farther away the destination is from the police station, the longer it will take your officers to travel back and forth, so the longer your people will be tied up and unavailable for upcoming work. Hit and run everyday mall. The easiest way to determine how difficult a task might be is to check how many units you're allowed to send on the call. The more units you can send, the more serious the alleged threat. Particularly risky missions can give you the option of sending SWAT, but they must be accompanied by at least 1 officer. Okay. The number of slots is not the only thing to consider. Any available information from the location of the crime scene to the presence of weapons and so on, all of this can tell you how seriously each case should be taken. A mission might look simple at first glance until it turns into a brutal meat grinder, or a serious call can come in which turns out to be a false alarm. Hit and run everyday mall. A married couple exited a convenience store and saw a van in the parking lot back over a homeless man who'd been digging through a trash can. The driver jumped out to help, but once he saw that he'd hit a bum, he got into the van again and drove off. What is this? WoW Garrison Simulator? Holy shit, this is boring. As I said, Batman is finished for the evening. This is a different game. I just wanted to try it, see what it's like. Okay, so let's send her. And she is really good, which means let's send this old person. Only got 5, she's shit. Still a more exciting viewing experience than The Division. A fight at the Last Picture Show Theatre. Theatre manager reports that during a showing of Citizen Kane, a drunk man attempted to force his way into the theatre carrying a snowboard decorated with the word Rosebud. When he was denied entry, he violently attacked the cashier and is currently fighting with the theatre security guard. So he's a drunk dude. 1 cop can handle that. 150 was average. So let's send Birdie. This woman should be able to deal with him. Is this the new Hearthstone expansion? Oh, fuck you both. There's a report from the hit and run. When everything goes well, the police capture the criminals and nobody dies, but truth is, some criminals manage to escape. Just try to avoid any dead cops or civilians. Dead cops will hurt your roster, and dead citizens bother the mayor even more than the living ones. The offender was caught and the officers were unharmed. The old woman got 10 experience. And the brilliant cop is even better now than what she was. The music is destroying my soul. 60s porn sex. Alright, here's a report from the fight. See, I told you Purdy could handle that fight. Woman Purdy. That dude at the cinema got jailed as well. Armed robbery at the suburbs. 3 teenagers armed with a shotgun robbed a videotape store and made off with their whole collection of adult movies. Criminals fled in a car, but the store manager wrote down the car's license plate. The owner is one Janet Brown, who lives in the suburbs. Only it's only 3 teenagers, and they've only got a shotgun. Saying Yancey and Austin. And there's a fight at Johnson, Jurgen, and Kat's law firm. A brother and sister clashed with each other over their deceased father's will. According to one of their lawyers, we don't dare separate them, and our security guard is off tonight. Brother and sister, and they're fighting over dead father. I can't see too much trouble coming there. Send the SWAT. Kids with a shotgun require the SWAT. Well, we'll see. I don't think the kids will be any trouble. Let's send Officer Asano to that. He's below average, but it's a brother and sister. They're just having an argument over their father who just died. I don't think there's going to be huge amounts of trouble there. It never said any of them were armed or anything like so. Okay. Assault in the ghetto. A passerby saw some teenagers attack an elderly musician, then run away with his guitar and money. Some teenagers? What kind of report is some teenagers? I need to know how many there is. Sick. But it never said they knifed him or anything like, so it doesn't sound like they're armed. Sort that shit out, party. And bring the old woman with you as well.
Officer on scene.
Armed robbery in the suburb. When your cops aren't sure how to proceed, they might contact you and ask you how to handle the situation. Try to deal with whatever comes up, but don't waste all your time on this stuff. You have plenty of other problems on your plate. The vehicle in question is parked right outside the Brown residence. The sounds of moaning and loud laughter can be heard through the living room window. Turn on the siren and loudspeaker and shout that the house is surrounded. Sneak into the house through an open window. Knock on the door and say, "Open up, please." Knock on the door, please. Nice. I didn't really think that was going to be a big trouble anyway. Yancey should be able to handle it easily, and then Austin just gets a little bit of experience out of it.
311A complete.
A report from the fight. The offender escaped. Officer was unharmed. Fuck! Should have sent us another cop with her. I got the beast in my sights. Hoot hoot. That belongs in the museum. Let me change your mind. Hands behind your back and on your knees, motherfucker. What are you doing, Purdy? Fuck's sake, the old woman's reset to what she was again. Okay, so if it's a 3-man call out and I send 2 cops, the offender's going to get away, but nobody will get hurt. And that's it for today. Wasn't too bad. You think you'll need a couple of extra hands tomorrow, you can order any cop to come in and work overtime, but if they're working flat out, they'll be much more exhausted. Somebody's bound to be making a mistake. Where everybody lost a point of rest there for today. I didn't use any detectives today. I don't know why they're exhausted.
Used to be, when I asked Kendrick to stay late at the office, he liked to grumble and crack wise. Nowadays, he doesn't have the strength for it. Slumped shoulders, blank stare, wrinkled skin. The past few weeks, I don't hardly recognize my old friend. In his younger years, he reminded me of a gallant royal officer in an old Kipling story. Kendrick isn't just crumbling under the weight of the public pressure, but from the shame of it all. Internal Affairs raided the library he inherited from his grandfather, hoping they'd find buckets of cash stashed in the pages. Heard about the look on his face, the fearless policeman standing helpless in horror.
Is that
I've known
Stanley?
Francis for 30 years, past
He
20
does look a
years,
bit
he's
old to be
played
still in
loose
this
with the
job.
law. And I know that at a certain point, every stolen dollar brings more misery than anything else. Probably sounds crazy, but I sympathize with the guy. What can I do? Your friends are your friends, and these are the waters we swim in.
Called all of the people on that list today. Now they know you're in business, so you could get a call from any of them. You don't need to worry about any of them. I've cleared them all.
And what kind of business are we talking here?
It's nothing too serious, just like you asked. Should be just a few small favors. Payments will vary depending on the situation and who you're dealing with. How much are you looking to earn?
$500,000.
$500,000? Why not a whole million?
Because everybody wants to take $1 million. Figured I'd try something different.
$500,000 in 180 days? Well, you could earn it all above board if you netted all the big fish and hit all your bonuses.
Never knew you for a fisherman.
Well, you never got into my business, and I'm not trying to get into yours. But be careful about bringing in any other cops. Sooner or later, they'll put the finger on you.
Two must be both bent.
And one more thing, Jack. I remember what you said, but I should probably add one more name to that list. Christopher Sand.
Sand. Christopher G. Sand. Everyone knows the name, but few could tell you who he is. The old man stays away from the spotlight. Always wears old-fashioned jeans and knitted sweaters. Gives to charity. Rarely attends social events. An avid hunter, I hear. Even dabbles in poetry. You'd never guess he's the head of the oldest and most powerful gang in the city. Goes back as far as his great-grandfather. And Sand is strict about following the old rules. He rarely involves himself in commonplace murders and robberies. Hardly needs to intimidate anyone to get his point across. The people who work for him each have their sphere. They provide protection where needed, even work with the authorities when they want to make a deal. Meanwhile, Sand pulls the strings without getting his hands dirty. People sometimes mistake his quiet approach. A couple years ago, an arms dealer decided to expand its business without asking permission, and his whole family paid the price. In 4 weeks, Sand killed 31 people. Old men, women, even a few teenagers. And Sand's people made sure every paper reported it. Frank, I don't want to hear you say that name again.
Jack, please, listen to me. I'm in with these guys.
We agreed, Frank. That's not the kind of business I'm into. I don't go there. Never have, never will.
Hello, Infinity. Good evening, sir. Francis Kendrick announces his retirement date. Construction of the Cinema Museum postponed again. Legendary singer Gennaro Crespo comes to Freiburg. He's probably going to get shot today. Kindly not put fucking Trump emotes in my chat, thanks. When a police officer is too tired to be effective, he will ask for a full day off. Sometimes officers will request days off even when they're at full strength. Some of the reasons you'll hear are far-fetched, while some are very serious, just like real jobs. Don't overindulge your subordinates, but don't antagonize them either. Remember that everybody's got secrets, and you've got to make sure these guys have got your back. In addition to their performance ratings, police officers also possess rank. Employees begin at the lowest rank and can be elevated in rank with 1, 2, or 3 stripes. Once a week you can pass out stripes and improve the rank of any employee. If you think that no one is worthy of the honour some week, you can postpone the ceremony until later. Insignias won't go out until your people are ready. Employees of rank not only increase in professionalism, but also learn to command. Whenever a ranking officer is on the scene, his or her colleagues are more likely to perform better than usual. Sometimes when cops get rank, they start thinking more seriously about their service. This can mean less drinking and more time spent on the job. Some of them might even turn out to be dependable. Right, so I've got 2 stripes to give out. I'm going to give them to... I haven't really started to learn names just yet. These are different cops to what I had yesterday as well. I think the old woman was here. I think anybody else was. Promote Robbins. Fuck you, Robbins. And Amity as well. Freeburg isn't one of those cities where you listen to what they say or nothing at all. You can always select any song from your collection and play at any time, just like real life. Well, the life of your grandfather. Turntable, choose a song to play. The fuck do I know what any of these? Singing Them by John Sangster. Jazz. I'm guessing you'll be triggered by that, Ignis. Billabong. Let's learn how to hire and fire cops. Fairs, police station, labor market. You have a certain number of paid job openings for which you can hire any available applicants. Job slots are separated between officers and detectives. Alright, okay, so this is Shift A that we're working on now. Gay Castile, professionalism 100, political views unknown. Want to free up a slot? Time to fire somebody. I'm you, retired old woman. If you have legal grounds for the termination, no one will ask any questions. You might need to fire them anyway, legality be damned, but that could land you in additional proceedings and your other staff will become more worried about their keeping their jobs than they are about actually doing their jobs. Another way to free up a slot is to have a police officer killed, but that's not really a valid option. What the fuck? Fire legally. Too old. Yeah, she's fucked. Bye bye. And C, Shift B. Cop slots 15, detective slots 15. Oh yeah, because we fired the old woman, so now we need another cop. I'm unfollowing if you're not streaming No Man's Sky when it's out. I have it on pre-order. I don't know whether I'll stream it yet or not, but if you really want to see it, I will. I'll probably stream it at least on launch day and maybe the next day or something. We'll go from there though. I don't know. I've got my doubts whether it's good stream material. Seems like it's going to be really good to play, but I don't know whether it'll be good to stream. Matthew Marlowe looks like a hotshot detective. Grab him for our shift. Right, we're kicking off with some vandalism at St. John's Cathedral. We received a frightening call from the local cathedral. This morning the abbot discovered that someone entered the old cemetery during the night. The old yard's tombstones are painted with satanic symbols, and some have been broken into pieces. It seems there are even marks from a shovel, but the abbot would say no more. Who the fuck are my detectives? Like, this sounds perfect for a detective case, because there isn't actually anybody to deal with. And I'll go check that shit out and bring the old woman. Oh no, the old woman's getting... Is she still here? She's not sacked yet. Vandalism at Atticus Tower. Businessman Harley Jones, looking out his window, saw two teenagers scratching offensive slogans onto his new car. Three cop call out. Right. Let's bring Mr. Robbins and Grant and Birch Jr. Son of a bitch. You're fucking shit, old woman!
1210 in progress.
Suspicious individual at Eddie's Burgers. A waitress named Mila reports that she just served a chicken Eddie and a Diet Coke to a dangerous criminal who she'd seen on television just this morning. The culprit is sitting at the window eating a burger. He's dangerous. Okay, this sounds like a job for Stovall, and bring Birch with you as well. Nice. And lasers were caught. No officers were harmed. Shit. Good job, Robbins. Call the police. This man is eating a burger.
1210.
It did sound like that at first. That's why she called the cops. Sam Sorkin, King Louis nightclub. Read this report real quick first. The waitress had mistaken retired officer Frank Narrow for the fugitive in question. False alarm. Good shit. Mr. Boyd, my bouncer stuffed himself with Mexican food again and now he can't get off the can. Meanwhile, the line outside the club is stretching around the block. We need someone outside who can tell the cool guys from the punks. Somebody has to do nightclub work while the bouncer's getting sorted. Okay. Ron can deal with that shit. Like, if she can't even control nightclub patrons, she's a shit cop.
1111 in progress.
Drug sales at Christopher G. Sands Ice Arena. An anonymous call came in. A clown carrying balloons at a skating rink is selling crack to teenagers. Right, definitely need to get an arrest here. Stovall, go to that shit. And bring... Vandal with you. Not that far, so hopefully it'll not be going long. Suicide threat at Fleet Street. A naked man carrying a canister of gasoline has threatened to set himself on fire unless his favourite chewing gum becomes popular again. Egg. Robbins, deal with that, and bring Birch with you. Report from Sam Sorkins. Sorry, Chief, but I quit. In one night, I pulled in more cash than I earned in a month working at this dump. Mr. Sorkin said he wouldn't mind taking me on. I guess I just wasn't cut out to be a cop. I should have had you killed. Thanks for your help, Mr. Boyd. That's okay. You can have a cop any day. $4,500. Right, I need to replace her. Is there a decent cop? Disturbance at the local GameStop in progress at the midnight launch of GTA 5. Capture the assailant quickly and deport him. Sounds like a real life call out there. Drug sales, right, there's a problem with this drug sales. As police arrive, a clown is seen making balloon animals for the kids. Take the clown onto the ice and round up any witnesses. Cover up in a raincoat and pretend to be an illicit customer. Carefully watch the clown from the stands. Okay, so it must have been the clown then. Good shit. Yeah, he got jailed. Exactly what I wanted. Oh, there's a report from our suicide. Got the suicide talk down as well. Good shit. That was a good day. Gone. Old woman's gone. Everybody's ready for action on Shift B. Oh no, there's two old women. Shift B's got an old woman on it as well. What's with keeping shit old women about? They're useless. Or Jean-Claude Van Damme or Rad. I already have him. One day in the job and you have people quitting. Did Infinity G teach you your management? Day 4. Feminist organisation denied official registration. Robespierre to reveal his identity when the time is right. Enemies using feminists to destroy Freiburg. Next special on the papers. Visitor at home.
Whenever I'm alone at home and there's a knock at the door, I always hope it'll be my wife, Laura. She's always forgetting her keys.
Hello, my name is Steve, and you're Jack Boyd, is that right?
To get to my front door, the Bible boys walked about a mile from the local bus stop, jumping over mud puddles and skirting a couple of landfills. Laura doesn't go in for religion either, but according to her, these brave lunatics with their fake smiles deserve at least a minute of attention. She patiently listens to them, asks them questions, regales them with pastries, and never once dropping a hint of condescension. When I watch her do it, I've got to admit it gets me. I'd have hugged those boys, sat with them on the porch and lit up a cigar. But a month after Laura left, all I could do was quietly ask them not to bother me. Today I'm a little rougher still. Shut the door on his nose this time. Another couple weeks at this rate and I'll be greeting anyone who comes close with my service pistol pointed towards the sky, ready to fire my warning shots. In my life, even the basic stuff never goes like it's supposed to. Normally, when a wife is going to leave home, she'll make a scene or at least sit everyone down for a serious conversation. But Laura just disappeared. The children in the stories always stand on the side of the mother, but all 3 of our sons supported me. The in-laws always blame the husband for making their daughter unhappy. But now Sally, Laura's mother, well, we sort of have a pact. The fellow Laura ran off with is young enough to be her son. I hear he's 30 years old. Of all the possible information a man can know about his wife's lover, I get hit with that. Fortunately, Laura's mother doesn't like the way it sounds either. Sally figures this guy just thought he'd have some fun with a mature woman, but he'll be back chasing college girls before the year is out. So we have an agreement. Sally's gonna track down Laura and try to reason with her, and we'll arrange a meeting. Meanwhile, I'm supposed to not do anything stupid, which of course means anything at all. It's a crazy situation. I'm the police chief, and the person I'm trusting to find my wife is an old woman armed with a phone book. But I can't afford to lose Sally as an ally. So for the moment, I had to swallow my pride.
Hello.
Mrs. Markham, this is Boyd.
Oh, is there any news?
That's what I wanted to ask you.
Surprised
Have you
she's not
found
a cop?
anything? An address, phone number? Have you spoken to her?
Don't worry, Jack. I've narrowed the range to 2 suspects, or whatever you like to say at your police building.
At my police building, we find people faster than a funny old woman chirping on the phone with my wife's girlfriends.
Oh, you're an old man, Jack. Come to your senses. They'd give us straight odds on the street. But I've got more energy, Jack. Maybe you think I'm a foolish old woman, but I go to my book club, argue with the girls about Byron, and it gives me energy. I talk to my dogs, and it gives me energy. And you have nothing, Jack. You don't even have a hobby. You got no passion. It's why Laura left you.
Let's not go back into that, Sally. Find my wife, and we can discuss my hobbies later. I'm waiting for your call, and my patience is running thin. Laura, if you've stopped loving me, I'll let you go. I can't expect the impossible from you. Just don't let me die out here, okay?
The next 3 days will be spent drinking bourbon and catching up with your laundry. True story. Right, this is the second shift now, so... Don't think I've worked this shift yet. The old woman I haven't worked with yet, because I sacked the other one. Oh no, this is Purdy's shift. Yes, I have worked this shift, yeah, because Purdy got experience on one of the jobs, yeah. So this is the very first shift that we worked. Okay. Let's see what this is. Sweet Ginger Green, Pierce Picking, Ragtime 5. Let's face it, it's probably jazz. Fire all black cops from City Hall? What the fuck? If someone commits a serious crime and flees the scene, the case goes to your detectives. Homicide in the ghetto. Black activist Ronnie Moore was found shot outside his home. They investigate the crime scene, and interview witnesses and gather whatever information seems pertinent. One of your detectives will lead investigator on the case. You can assign additional detectives to any case who will work under the lead investigator as subordinates. The more professional the lead investigator, the more effective the team. Okay. She has a really dodgy surname, but I'm going to let Detective Mole run this. DeBrito's going to work under her, as is Armstrong. Destruction of property, City Hall, parking lot. A member of the city's cleaning crew saw an elderly man approaching some expensive cars in the parking lot carrying a long iron rod. The whole street could hear him shouting, "Bastards, thieves, bloodsuckers." She's got a long iron rod. In a world where crime is rampant in the streets, Officer Yancey is the only one standing between anarchy and justice. Let's send Officer Yancey then. And... send Sabaki on that one as well. Room for another detective, have we on this shift? What is this shit? Fire all black cops. A racist gang has recently made some trouble in the city. They're capturing black townspeople and beating them to death. They recently sent a message to a local radio station promising to kill all the black doctors, firemen and police. We don't need any more dead police, especially not mere months before the election. The racists are gaining more and more followers, and even some of our citizens support them. You'll have to fire all of your black employees over the next 2 days due to mounting racial tensions. Go fuck yourselves. Carjacking in the suburbs. A gas station surveillance camera recorded a car that's on the stolen vehicles list. A 4-officer call out? What the fuck is this? This shit you're saying. Now he spends his days doing paperwork and playing solitaire with pictures of cops on the cards. Max P in the twilight years. Very good, Connie Face. Right, you're going to send Officer Kochi to this. Kochi? Cocky? How the fuck you pronounce that? Birdie will fucking wreck faces, and... send Austin to that, that should be enough. 3 cops to a 4-cop call out. Homicide investigation has started. Detectives have started interviewing witnesses, collected evidence from the scene, and are pursuing the investigation. Expect results. Indeed. Eric Graham, a drunk witness. They drove by in a sedan and they shot like a machine gun. I didn't see much. Betting neighbour, I heard only a few muffled shots. Car. Neighbour, he got what he deserved. He's been causing trouble for a long time, and recently there's been lots of cursing and carrying on. This club, I don't remember the car, and the neighbourhood was quiet. I never heard any shots. Carpenter, a neighbour. The police these days don't do nothing. I almost died myself. I went to buy some medicine and was nearly hit by some idiot's car. Several shots fired. We're in a sedan. More than one person. Somebody nearly got knocked down. Shot just after coming out of his apartment. Alright, so they haven't pieced it together yet. Okay. Then I learned Austin is a strong, independent black woman. He always has been. Destruction of property report. Yes. Right, we're going to hear how this 3-man call-out goes now in a second.
We've got a situation here.
Carjacking at the suburbs. The driver is nowhere to be seen. Interview the witnesses. Search the car. Wait at a safe distance for the driver to appear. Witnesses.
130 feet complete.
Nice. Suspicious individual at Desire Park. Corey Ramsey, a mother of several children, has expressed her concerns about a suspicious man wearing bifocals seated on a bench beside a playground. He's been watching the children for over an hour and has taken several photographs of them. Has he now? Has he now? Officer Fitzsimmons, go sort that shit. And bring Asano with you. Here's this fucking nightclub again. Who am I going to lose this time? Oh no, it's not. It's a different place this time. Mr. Boyd, I'm opening Freeburg's first martial arts club, and for my first exhibition I want to hold a sparring match where one of my students takes on your toughest cop. After the fight, I'll teach your man a few tricks, something that will help him out on the streets. Job for Yancey. Report on the suspicious individual. Nice. Caught that pedo in the park. Shit. The investigation. Your detectives present frames, different versions of what might have happened at the crime scene. You've got 3 new frames. They get it wrong half the time, but a good cop can separate fact from fiction if they know how to look at case materials. The more professional detectives work in an investigation, the better their instincts. To get to your suspects, you'll need to figure out the true sequence of events at the crime scene. Pardon me, using the frames you think is likely, sometimes with a little guesswork thrown in. If you add it all up but the sequence fails, you're probably telling the wrong story. Lord Pharmacy, so that's where the guy nearly got hit by the car. Car hitting. That's them doing the shooting. Car would be approaching. do the shooting. He would escape. When an investigation pans out, you'll have yourself a suspect. Sometimes there's more than one, but in this case your detectives have narrowed it down to a single candidate. Carjacking in the suburbs. Witnesses say Perp was of an Eastern European descent and in answer to the name of Nico Bellic. We must go deeper. Check the bowling alley. Cousin! Suspect is Travis Horton, a known racist who already has several previous convictions. I don't know if they got promoted or not there, I didn't get to see. Your detectives have information on the whereabouts of the suspect. Sometimes there might be a number of locations to proceed from. Carry out the arrest, 2 officers must escort the lead investigator to apprehend the suspect. If the lead investigator is not on duty, the arrest will have to wait, but remember that fugitives will not sit patiently until your schedule clears. Also remember that criminals will react in different ways. A frightened thief is likely to surrender as soon as the game is up. A brutal killer might want to see just how many he can take with him. With more dangerous criminals, it is safer to send experienced officers and even the SWAT team if you see fit. Well, this dude had a silenced pistol and did a drive-by. Got that guy no problem. And the witnesses didn't even get to see who it was, so he sounds like a professional. Doesn't sound like just a couple of cops is going to bring him in, so let's send Poochie, and we'll send Purdy as well. Actually, no, Purdy back again. Send Fitzsimmons, and we'll send SWAT.
311A is
Kevin's Throat Bar, where a fight has broken out. A bartender reports that a couple of dancers have started fighting over tips, and a cat fight broke out right on stage. Take a job for Purdy. Bring Sabaki with you, and Austin. Well, actually, bring Asano. Actually, with that. Back again, bring Austin.
311A is
Octopus Restaurant. A bartender reported the fight has broken out between a patron and the bar's bouncer. The man, apparently drunk, had climbed on stage while a local singer was performing and tried to sing a duet with her. Drunk. Problem. Price with you as well. Plot twist, he just sent SWAT to Fathead's house. Chief, I just about nailed the job a couple of times, but he was too fast for me and won on points. I don't really understand all the rules, so I can't keep track of points very well, but he was alright, even showed me a few tricks after the match. I got carried away a little and pulled my back. Do you think I can take a day off? Fuck, he got shitloads of promotion out of that. Right, so Yancey won't be with us on the next shift. Actually, it won't matter because we'll be on the next shift. Fight at the Kevin Throat Bar. On the stage are 2 strippers going at it, and it's gone beyond arguing to a full-on cat fight. The bouncer is fast asleep, clearly too wasted to handle the situation. The drunken patrons are happily watching the fight. Draw your service weapon, shut off the music, and turn up the lights. Listen, girls, cut the crap or this is going to get serious. Thinking about shutting the music off and turning up the lights, but I'm thinking that might piss off the crowd. Draw your service weapon just escalates things too much. Between these two. Let's go under siege. Sick. The strippers continue fighting, oblivious of the police presence. Ask the bartender for a bucket of cold water and throw it on the combatants. Step onto the stage and try and separate the girls. Watch the strippers go at it and don't interfere. Drown them.
311A complete.
Nice. We got our man at the docks as well. Good shit. Case closed. You were able to arrest all suspects. I think that's the end of the day because I saw the shutter. Yeah. Here's a report from our fight. let's say, at the end of the day, they're almost perfect. Alright, so I can tell somebody from Shift B that they have to work tomorrow. That's interesting. So then you can start micromanaging the gaps. Right, okay, that makes sense. So instead of hiring cops all the time, you can tell a cop from another shift to work on this one as well. Get a drink here. Second. I'm back. Officer Blaine explains, I thought she was a suicide bomber. Retired police officer Thomas Blaine shoots a pregnant woman. That's fine, he's retired, who gives a shit. Mayor Rogers said he has no problem with racists.
Why would a man need a barn? To store all the stuff you can't bring home. About 30 years ago, back when I was young and interested in farming, I carried all kinds of junk home. After a day in the field, I'd come home with buckets, shovels, dirty boots and clothes, and instantly transform the living room. But even back then, there's something I always kept in the barn.
Where he keeps his retirement fund. Oh no, his pill addiction.
I stopped keeping my pills inside the house because every time I was about to take a triple, someone would knock on my bedroom door. Now they're knocking on my barn door. Well, fine. It's not every day that someone comes to visit your barn. In all the years we worked together, Kendrick never came to visit the house. We drank at bars, went fishing, went to the mountains, even chased off some poachers one time. But he never came for dinner with the family. We never watched football over here. And now he's brought his friends to visit my barn. I always try to look unsurprised, like it's an everyday thing to get visitors at the old barn, especially guests with their own personal bodyguards. But Kendrick is sharp enough to see he's caught me with my pants on backwards.
Sorry for the surprise, Jack. We saw you from the car. Figured we'd find you in here. I'm going in for a minute, fellas. These guys will wait outside.
I'd like to know what Kendrick
How long
has
you
on
been
him.
dating the lover boys?
They're Sans people, Jack.
Yeah. So now you're appearing in public with members of the Mafia?
Jack, I'm leaving tonight. More like fleeing. Jenny and I are taking the girls and making a run for it. Probably won't be seeing each other again. I've got new documents, a new name, a new life, everything new.
The papers say you're still working your last week for the department.
I've got to get out today. I won't be getting another chance. Don't know if you noticed, but the whole city is against me.
You told your Mafia friends about your plans.
Jackie, if I don't fix everything with them in the next few hours, they're going to kill me. And not just me. My family, my relatives, God, Jack, I don't know who else. They found out that I was planning to run, and they demanded that we close our contract today.
Your contract, Frank? Really? Is that how you talk now? Maybe you should call in the lawyers to straighten all this out.
Now is not the time, Jack, please. I have a commitment to them until the end of the year. They need an inside line at police headquarters. I can't just give them back the money. That's not how the mafia works. If I can't find someone I can trust tonight, I'm dead. You know me, Jack. I wouldn't ask you if I wasn't afraid they'd cut my daughters to pieces before sunrise.
He's the damn fool who puts his daughters in the crosshairs in the first place. Anyone in my place would have dressed him down good. But I didn't want to pile it on. Fate's already got this guy's soul in the grinder.
If I help this guy, it's gonna cost money I've already earned. But I have only earned like $7,000, so it's not like I've made any progress. If I refuse to help him, I'm gonna end up getting killed. Fuck it, Stanley, you can have your money.
Give him my phone number and tell him it's done. Don't call me. Don't come to work today. I don't want to see or hear from you again. Time for you to go.
Jack,
Get the fuck out of my nice cozy barn, Frank. At the time, I was trying not to think about what just happened. It was almost too much to take in. I'm probably the most popular police chief in the history of the city, and I have to admit, I've thought about that more than once, sometimes with a little pride even. In one of the features they wrote about me in the papers, they said it pretty plain. He catches the criminals. Believe me, high praise like that is unheard of in Freeburg, especially for a cop. And here I am, the person who catches criminals, and I've agreed to help the mafia, or I'll come home to a bag stuffed with my kids' body parts. Right before the last hammer falls. Hey, remember that cop who caught criminals? It turns out he was a mafia bitch. And all for the sake of a greedy, corrupt cop who should have fled the country years ago. That sound right to you?
Back to work, boys. Ignis, I noticed a trend. Each mission old woman Price was on has failed so far. Time to put her in the meat grinder. Marlowe, detective. Today my daughter is opening an art exhibition at an elite gallery in a nearby city, and I have the day off. Yes, but make sure you're at work tomorrow. Birch, today some of my relatives have come to visit. They're from another country and have never even met today. Or never even met before. Can I have a day off? That's your shit anyway. Right. So, we're down a detective and down a cop. Should be interesting. Nocturne in B major. No matter your personal relationship with the city's administration, your police station is at their mercy. In order to maintain reasonable working conditions, you have to send appropriate requests to the mayor. Affairs, go to City Hall. Decisions from City Hall depend on whether they're satisfied from your work. You can send requests every 5 days. The fools in charge of the city may refuse outright or accept only some of your requests, so only ask for what you really need. I definitely need more cops. Don't think I need more detectives. SWAT did a good job at the dock, so they're fine as well. I'm not going to get my salary increased. Okay. I think
210 in progress.
disorderly conduct kicks off the day number 5. We're going to finish with this day. I think this is a good point to end the stream, so we'll work this day through, and then that'll be it for today. Tomorrow I'll be back 2 p.m. GMT. We're going to kick off a Far Cry Primal playthrough on hardcore, so if you're interested in seeing that, plan to tune in. Let's get started here with day number 5, disorderly conduct at Eddie's Burgers. Every morning there's a dirty piss-soaked bum sleeping at the cafe. The man refuses to go away and he growls at anyone who approaches, scaring all the customers. Officer Castile, go deal with that shit.
910 in progress.
Touch of Dionys's liquor store. A witness looked out from her window while an armed man with a stocking on his head entered the nearby liquor store. An armed man with a stocking on his head. One dude, but it doesn't say what he has. And Stovall. And Vandal. Birch Jr. And SWAT. Right in a residential area. A hot dog vendor reports that he saw 2 Elvis impersonators grappling right there on the sidewalk. They're swearing in Spanish and beating on each other with microphone stands. Okay, send Robbins and Samity. Or another cop.
210 complete.
Disorderly conduct report. Offender escape. Good job, Castillo. Salary from City Hall. Here's your week's salary. City Hall hopes we don't disappoint. $1,200 a week. It's not bad. Are all black cops. Tomorrow's the deadline. My ass.
Officer on scene.
Robbery. The shop has 2 exits from which a few people have already fled. Enter the store through the main entrance, sneak up to the back door, drive a patrol car right through the front window. Alright, it's not fucking Lethal Weapon 5. We enter through the front door, he's going to be expecting that, so let's sneak up to the back door. The stick-up man noticed the police presence and took the cashier hostage. He's holding his gun to the hostage's head, shouting, "Back off or I'll blow his goddamn face off." Meanwhile, the cashier is yelling in an unknown language. "Quiet, Abdul, you're just making things more complicated." Silently take aim at the robber. You in the mask, shut your face and drop the weapon. Sure with this one? Quiet, Abdul, you're just making things more complicated. Abdul mentioned in this, so that's just racism. Silently take aim at the robber. That sounds interesting because I think this is the call out that SWAT are on. You in the mask, shut your face and drop the weapon. That sounds like it's just antagonizing, so let's just aim at him. The robber grows visibly nervous. "Don't shoot, please. I just need the money. I'll just take a little bit and go. No one was hurt." The cashier begins to cry. "I'll let you leave here upright, but only if you release the hostage. There's 2 ways out of this shop, in cuffs or in a body bag. Shoot the robber." I think if we shoot, we're going to just hit him, or we're going to hit the cashier. He's also nervous. I'll let you leave out here upright, but only if you release the hostage. That means that dude's going to get away, in which case everybody involved will lose experience. Let's threaten him.
910 complete.
Ooh-ah! This robbery at the city centre. An antique Chinese necklace was stolen from Bao Liang while she was on the way to the pawn shop. Beasley is going to run lead detective on this, and Moser will work under him. City Hall. It's a hot one today, and a lot of people are going for a swim. Last week, 4 people drowned on the beaches of Freiburg, and the press is in an uproar. Please send someone to keep an eye on things. Municipal assignment. Castile already fucked the job up. So now she is going to be sent to this one. Can't send Castile by herself, she's useless. Jack, this year the organisers of the Golden Beast Hunt suddenly changed the rules of the annual shooting contest. It now features teams instead of single competitors. Can you send me 2 of your finest marksmen? I'd really love to do well in the competition. No.
212 in progress.
Destruction of property, Gallery of Modern Art. At a gallery exhibition entitled Sex Operation, a gang of young people in ski masks forced their way in and began smashing the exhibits, shouting, "We don't need this shit in our city." And the only person I have available is fucking Castile. On 6, 5, 4, 3. All Keep Vandal. Shitheads. What's a 5-man call out? Okay. As well. I can send somebody to this shit. Robbins and Samity. Started into the robbery. Okay, Mrs. Liang. The victim. Me and my husband got into a difficult financial situation. I was going to pawn an antique necklace which has been in my family for many centuries. As I was carrying the necklace to the pawn shop, someone ripped the bag from my shoulder and disappeared. I didn't have time to do anything, not even cry out. Her leaving her house. Or after she robbed. Okay, so this is what was nicked. The bag on her shoulder. Not her without the bag. Okay. Mr. Fishman, who was a witness, the offender was on a motorcycle. He drove down the road, grabbed the bag, and then escaped. I tried to race after him, but I didn't even have time to see if it was a man or a woman. Okay, so he was on a motorbike. Hold on here. So this is a witness report. The offender was on a motorcycle. He drove down the road, grabbed the bag, and then escaped. I tried to race after him, but I didn't even have time to see if it was a man or a woman. That witness report is interesting. Could be just a fuck up in the way they've wrote it up, but it doesn't fit together. So he says at one point that he doesn't know what gender the suspect was, but also identifies him as a man in the report. Instead of saying they, he says he and everything. Anita Alvarez. I couldn't see his face, but he was dressed in a jacket. Okay, so it was a man. I couldn't see his face, but he was dressed in a jacket like those other bikers who hang around on the street corners. Miss Phillips. It was definitely not a local biker. They are bald and have beards, but this guy looked Asian. Probably Japanese or Chinese. And what ethnicity that dude is. Men are bad. Very well said, sir. Very well said. Mrs. Patterson. What? Mrs. Patterson. Thomas Patterson, witness. I didn't see a weapon in his hands. I just saw him grab her bag and ride off. It'll be an interesting investigation. So many fucking mix-ups there. I got a report from the fight as well. So we got our offender there for everybody involved. Good shit. Destruction of property report. Yes. I was hoping for that. Gets Castile up to 100 again. And Birch gets a little bit of experience as well. And we got the arrest there. A report from the robbery. We've got the 3 frames from it. I need to try and put these together then. Right. So that's her leaving her house. This is him approaching on the motorbike. That's him grabbing the bag. That's him making off. That's her with no bag. Okay, so this is him approaching. Grabbing. Making off. Bag there. Yes, he has, because arm there. Suspect Quan Yin Lin, Chinese immigrant, recently expelled from the university. Robbery at Chinatown dormitory. After being expelled from university, Quan Yin Lin moved here. You have to send 2 officers and the lead investigator. Okay. Send anybody to that just yet? Vandalism at Atticus Tower. A guard went out for a smoke and he saw a teenager writing obscenities on the wall of the building. I chased the brat up a tree. You can take it from here. Job for 1 cop, but I don't think anybody's going to be ready in time. 8, 4, 3. 3 now. Oh, still not. Just in time. Send Stovall to that call out and bring Birch. 2 cops should be able to go to this now. Oh, son of a bitch, I missed the chance. Quick enough. Them 2 home from the shooting. Okay, so I missed the chance to get that arrest there, so that guy might actually get away, because tomorrow that detective won't be on duty, which means we can't do that raid. Vandalism report. Looks like tomorrow is going to be a long day. More like the first of a lot of long days. There's just too much going on. Who did I put on lead detective? Beasley, wasn't it? Yeah, you have to work tomorrow. That where we will end things this evening, folks. So thank you very much for watching the stream today. Our stream back in 2.5 months. Get back into the groove. I will be back tomorrow, 2 PM GMT, for some Far Cry. Till then, look at the game. Your progress will be lost. Oh, save there, so should be saved. Till then, see you next time. Thank you very much, folks.